Oh, that's me. Welcome, Fetty Friendos and Xeon's guys. I'm your artist and hostess with the mostest. I haven't used that yet, I don't think. Hey, it's Uda. If you're new to the channel, remember, subscribe, and if you liked the video, drop a like. And a comment would be pretty cool too. I'd appreciate it. So, as you might have been able to tell by now, we're doing G Gundam art. Woo! Gundam! G Gundam, the really weird one. What can I say about G Gundam? I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot. But let's start with some facts. I could list some easily Googled info, but that would be really boring, wouldn't it? Maybe we shouldn't do that. Opinions. We can do opinions. I got opinions. Mostly starting and finishing with Shining Finger. Shining Finger! We used to run around shouting Shining Finger at each other when I was a kid. It really... Good time. Well, teenager. Don't question me. Now, it's been a while since I saw G Gundam. Like, a serious while. Like, hey. Perfect timing to weave in some of those facts, am I right? G Gundam. I'm gonna put on my fact voice right now, just so you guys know what we're doing. G Gundam originally aired on Japanese TV back in April of 1994. Oh my god, that's forever ago. I'm looking at the art style, you can tell, like, it's old. It's not like, you know, original Gundam old, but it's old. It came to North America in August of 2002 on good old Toonami on the Cartoon Networks. Everybody's favorite. And that, my friendos, is when I experienced it for the first time. I was like 16, obsessed with Toonami. Like most of the otaku freaks that I knew back in high school because, well, we didn't like have computers and the internet so much back then. And even if we did, like, we didn't have access to anime that was in any way, shape, or form dubbed or subbed. So Toonami was really the best you could hope for, and, well, you got what they picked. And they picked G Gundam. It was a new show, though, so we all were like, oh my god, did you hear? New show? We don't have to keep watching Cowboy Bebop over and over again. Not that Cowboy Bebop isn't quality. We don't have to sit there clutching our VHS copies of Escaflowne. At least the ones we could get our hands on, because there was that weird release thing with the censorship, and then they ended up re-releasing them uncensored. But either way, it was like $20 a VHS, and they had like 3 episodes, maybe 4 if you were lucky. I think one only had 2. Oh god, it was so expensive, because it was like a 24 episode, and it's giant robots, but this is totally, I'm off track. Regardless, it was a great reason to celebrate new shows. We didn't have access. I remember I spent way too much time on like Spanish channels watching anime, because there was like El Hazard and something else was on this random Spanish channel a lot, but again, it was totally in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. And so, no idea what was going on, you know, they're speaking Japanese in the show, but the subs are in Spanish, and I am just like, it's pretty. Regardless. Apparently, in my research, yes, I did research, it was like writing a book report in high school, a lot of nostalgia in this one. Apparently it was produced for the brand's 15th anniversary to try to put a new spin on the old Gundam franchise and combat waning popularity. You know, see, we're all learning here, isn't that great? But yeah, I guess they thought doing something wacky and crazy and totally different from all the stuff that they had previously done in the Gundam franchise might get some new fans in and get people hyped again. And, you know, good on them for trying something different. A lot of people are too afraid to do that. Boy, did they try something different. Like, G Gundam. You have to watch it, honestly. If you don't like anime, you're not gonna like it, because it is way more anime than most of the other Gundam. But anyway. It was the first Gundam series to be set in its own self-contained timeline outside of the Universal Century. It's known as the future century. Ooh, spooky. Unlike previous Gundam series, though, G Gundam's plot focused on the Earth being more or less like a ruined battlefield. The world's powers moved to space colonies, made some crazy agreement to have a Gundam tournament every 4 years, and basically each country had like a space colony that was like their new place to live, and they would have a representative that would pilot a mobile suit, usually crazy weird one because they were all really weird in that show. And basically they would duke it out in kind of like 1v1 sort of battles, and move along the chain until you get to the last guy. And then there's, a lot of rules and stuff, but yeah, basically whoever wins though the Gundam tournament gets to become the new ruler of space for the next 4 years, which I guess, most countries would be into. Who doesn't want to be Space King? It's a little bit of a weird premise, in my opinion, but that's the concept they wanted to go for, so don't question it. I mean, they're legitimately everything's a weird concept in there. I mean, there's a guy named Master Asia, and he's a fun character. If you know much about Gundam, you probably know it's usually focused on military conflicts, politics, Federation versus Zeon, yada yada yada. Lots of war and mobile suit fighting, all that good stuff. It tends to be, I'm not going to say realistic necessarily, but it tends to be more focused on, like the nature of war and political stuff. Whereas this is like, it's got definitely more of a Power Rangers feel to it, because they got, like, special abilities, and all their Gundams are special and wacky and, fun stuff. But it's definitely not super serious in the traditional sense. Like, if you can take it serious, good on you. But it had a bit of controversy, I guess, when they were, producing it, and even during the initial release. The staff and sponsors and fans were all just like, excuse me, sir, this is not the Gundam we signed up for. Which, again, understandable. It was weird. But, they wanted to take that risk, and hey, it turned out, because Japan was really actually pretty into it, surprisingly. I mean, not that surprisingly, because they're into some pretty weird stuff, and they're more accepting of putting a wacky spin on something that people know and love. So, it all worked out, and it was popular over there. It came to North America, almost a decade later, really, like, what, 8 years, I said before, 2002. Yeah, like 8 years after 2004. And the North American reviews were a little bit more like, excuse me? Which, they don't always translate things well when they dub it, so that probably had something to do with it, and also I probably said weird 8,000 times, but you literally have to watch it. The fact that, you saw the clip in the beginning, like, is erupting, burning, shining finger, love, like, it's a thing. But yeah, the North American audiences really liked the unique and stylized design of the mobile suits, but the plot and the overall progression of the show was seen as very campy and shallow, which I can understand from a Japanese perspective. They're really into that sort of thing sometimes, and Western audiences don't always enjoy that level of over-the-topness, which, not everybody does. But, it wasn't my favorite by far. If you can't tell, I'm not being incredibly positive about it, but it was goofy. And it was weird, and it was at a time in my life when I was a teenager, and that was far more entertaining to me than it should have been. And me and my friends had way too much fun just, like, making fun of it and goofing around and shouting shining finger and poking each other in the face. So, it's a good memory, and I might watch it again one of these days just because it's so dang weird and goofy. But I love it. But yeah, that's really, you know, the majority of the facts we got here. So I guess really the majority of the opinions. Honestly, I like the art style is nice for the time period, which is, you know, one of the reasons I enjoy doing fan art of it. Is it's, I don't know, it's not quite as 70s and 80s as the older stuff that I like the shows of, but it's not like or Gundam Wing looking. Like, not that into Gundam Wing. I of course did it in my sort of chibi art style, which was fun. And this is actually the first time that, like, I, other than that previous commission that I did with the ground unit helmet, I haven't really done a lot of like drawing mech stuff, so doing the head in the background was actually a lot of fun. And I don't know, I feel like I learned some interesting things, and I thought it was going to be a little bit too much, like a little too noisy and in your face, but I toned it down a little bit at the end, like just darkened it up, and it works really well. It's not the exact pose from the reference I was working off of. It's not the exact angle, but sacrifices need to be made. I wanted to make sure I was using really good reference so I could do a really good job, and let's face it, a lot of the screenshots, 480p and grainy at best, and impossible to decipher at worst, so I did my best. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of this one, and I had a lot of fun drawing it. So, yeah, win-win. I hope everybody out there that loves G Gundam enjoys my art. I hope you enjoyed my little ramble about Teenage Uda / G Gundam, my thoughts, a couple of facts, and some overall just me talking for like 10 to 14 minutes. I don't know. I know I already said it, but if you're still here at this point in the video, I would greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, left a comment. If you have any ideas for more Gundam art you would like to see, I would love to hear about it, or any other just general like fan art ideas. I am always open to, you know, other people's thoughts on things that I could do. You know, creativity is a fun thing to use as a group, in my opinion. If you have not already, also, please subscribe to the channel. It means a whole lot to me. And thank you so much for watching my video and listening to me jibber jabber. And I will see you guys in the next one. Later.